What's going on, guys? This is Mickey Martin coming at you with a video on how to restring your classical guitar. Now, this process is a pain in the butt, and unless you've been doing it for a while, it's going to take you a little bit of time. If this is one of your first few times doing it, expect to take around 30 to 40 minutes, but you'll get a lot faster, around 10 to 15 minutes on your classical guitar. Some professionals can even do it faster than that. Now, some things that you're going to need some strings, of course, and I like the Diodario Classic Nylons. They're great if you're on a budget, and they're still awesome strings, a 10 out of 10. And if you want an 11 out of 10, go with the Diodario Pro Arte. They have a nylon core and a lot smoother tone. You're also going to want some guitar cleaning supplies. I use the Dunlop cleaning supplies. And then you're going to want some clippers for the strings, and you could really just use normal scissors for this because they're nylon strings, and even the steel strings are a lot smaller and easier to cut than typical steel strings. And the last thing you're going to want is a shoe, and this is for safely balancing the guitar neck on the tabletop. Now, once you open the strings, on the inside will be the string gauge color chart. Pay attention to that because most of the time the strings won't be labeled individually on the inside of the packs. So even though there's no ball on the end of the strings, the ends are different. You're going to want to put the more stiff end through the bridge, and the more springy end goes through the headstock. The Diodario Pro Arte strings are awesome because they're individually labeled to avoid confusion. Now, this is the guitar that I'll be restringing today. I broke the string while I was in E open tuning doing my tutorial for She Talks to Angels by the Black Crowes. Here, check it out really quick. Oh. So to start off, we're going to loosen all of the strings because we're going to take all the strings off. And you want to slack them a decent amount so that you can cut the strings. You don't want to just cut the strings without loosening the pegs because that puts a lot of strain onto the neck. And then when you're removing the knots, just remember to keep one hand on the knot itself and then pull the other end out of the knot. Now, same thing on the headstock. The knots are going to be really tight, so remember to keep one hand on the knot and then pull the other end out with the other hand. This is the cleaning solution, and this step one, the cleaner itself, really just smells like kind of like alcohol, so it's probably an alcohol-based cleaner. It evaporates really quick, but it does leave a little bit of a residue. And when you're cleaning those frets, just remember to get the metal parts really well. And in those little grooves between the metal parts and the wood is where all the grime builds up. And then wipe off the residue, because there is a little bit. And also, you don't have to worry about cleaning the sides and back right now, because those will be accessible even with the strings on. Now, this fretboard conditioner is more of an oil, so it soaks into the wood and it smells really lemony. And when you have guitars with a really solid fretboard like this, it's going to soak into the wood a lot more than if it's a veneered fretboard. And you can see this difference right here. The right side is oiled, and even if you wipe it, it stays that same just really dark, rich color, and it looks really cool with rosewood as well because it shows that wood grain really defined. Now, this next step, we're going to put the strings through the bridge, and here you'll see me, I have to remove the string numbers on each one, and you don't have to go in a particular order. Just make sure that you put all the right strings through the right holes. And again, remember, you're going to be wanting to put the stiff end of the string through here right now. Save the springy end for the headstock. When you're tying the bridge, the thing to keep in mind is around the outside. So we're going to take this end and go around the outside of the string and then come back around. And we're not going to go through the loop yet. We're going to come back around the outside, and on that outside we're going to come through the loop. And with the small strings we're going to go through the loop twice, and with the big strings we're just going to go through the loop once. Alright guys, so we're using the camera microphone here, and here's an enlarged version of what we're doing on the guitar. We're putting the string through the bridge, and we're going around the outside on the treble side, and then we're going to go around the outside again and through the eye on the outside, and on the treble side we're going to come around the outside again and go through the eye again. And on the treble side you hold the tail facing the bass side so you can tuck it under the next string. And on the bass side, we're going to be going the other way. You only go through the eye one time and tuck it under the string on the treble side. Now remember that around the outside on the treble side is different than around the outside on the bass side. And you're going to start on the treble side, do the E and B string, then go over to the bass side and do the E, A, and then D string. But that D string you're not going to tighten down all the way, because you're going to need to do that G string that goes the opposite direction, and you're going to want to tuck them both into each other. So last you'll do that G string and tighten it all the way down, and it'll be underneath the D string, and then that D string will be underneath that G string that you just tightened down, and you'll tighten down the D string. Next, you're going to want to make sure that your headstock pins are at 45-degree angles so it's easy to feed the string through. And you'll feed the string through and then pop it up on the other side. And we're going to do the same style of knot here. So you're going to take the short end and we're going to go around the outside with it. But this time we're going to go through the eye right on the inside that first time through. And you're going to tie just a normal knot here. So again, on the B string, we go around the outside, and then we go through the eye, right on the inside on that first time through, just tying a normal knot. And we're going to do this same thing on the G string and on the bass side, but just remember the bass side around the outside is going to be the opposite direction than the treble side. Slow it down one more time so you can see it. Just around the outside and through that eye, right in the middle. A lot of folks will tell you to clip the strings as you go because they get in the way, but if you accidentally make a mistake and you already clipped the string, you're not going to be able to tie this knot again trying to get it back in. So I find it best just to save it for the end. They don't really get in the way that much. They're floppy nylon strings. They're not like your typical pokey steel strings. These are a lot more manageable. And then when you're clipping the strings, like I said, you can just use scissors. And sometimes depending on where the string ended up, it's easier to just flip the guitar over than it is to turn the tuning peg so that it's facing the right direction. And then last, finally, we're going to tune the guitar, and you're going to have to do this over and over, or just tune the guitar a little bit sharp and leave it overnight, tune it again the next day, and even that second day, it's going to keep going flat. It really takes about 48 hours for the nylon strings to fully set to where they're stable enough to play and not go out of tune. I appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up down below, and also consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this one. I also do a ton of guitar tutorials if you want to learn some new songs, but You guys take it easy out there. Peace.